So for our next speaker, we have Ms. Cillier. Did I pronounce it right?
Yes, Cillier.
Oh, yes, Cillier. Aurelia Cillier. She is from an origin from France. She lives in Zurich. That's in Zurich. Zurich, where she works, has various roles for large multinational companies, mostly in the field of leadership and organization development. She's now working as a freelance presence and public speaking coach. Initially, from a literature and business academic background, a career break gave her the opportunity to make a dream come true, bring an artistic and philanthropic project to life. Passionate about dance, the topic came to her very naturally. What Dance Can Do project was born from the belief that dance can change lives, and that more people should have known about it. Dance is empowering in many ways. It can play an active role in driving positive change at individual, community, and society levels. Dance programs are not a cost. They are an investment in the future of humanity. Let's all welcome Aurelia Cillier with a big round of applause.
So thank you all for being here, and thank you for the Women's Federation for World Peace for having me today. I'm Aurelia Cillier. I'm the founder and president of this France and Switzerland-based non-profit organization called What Dance Can Do. What do? We organize dance programs and events for children and teenagers who are facing illness or whose socio-economic circumstances don't allow to have an easy access to artistic education, and actually for many to any kind of extracurriculum activity. We're relatively young as an organization. We are 5 years old, and we have organized these programs and events for about 900 to 1,000 children and teenagers. They have been from 4 years old to 20, so a quite large age span. We have been active in 9 countries in Europe and on the African continent. So that's, maybe I can, I don't want you to do it, you can do it. Let's just enjoy. So that's us. And why do we do that? Because in the end, there are many beautiful art forms we could have used as a platform for change and development. Well, we chose dance because we believe, as Juliette said, that dance changes lives. And that's a pretty strong statement, right? Dance changes lives. So you can wonder, in the end, what is dance? So I just Googled it, right? And this definition can be easily challenged and very, very easily enriched. But that's what Google says. It's to move, it's a verb, it's to move in a quick and lively way. By the way, it can also be very slow. And it's also a noun, and it's a series of movements that match the rhythm of a piece of music. When you look at this definition, you can wonder, okay, how can this change lives, right? And that's a fair question. And to be honest with you, I think it's important to clarify, even if it can seem obvious, that dance doesn't compensate for the lack of basics that children should have access, all children should have access to, that are safety, that are food, that are love, that are shelter, right? Still, dance, oops, next one. Yes. There is something quite special and maybe even unique. Also sports fans would say that, also football fans would say that football is both a sport and art. We claim that dance is maybe unique in the way that it's both an art and a sport. And it's funny because I was at an event earlier this week in Paris for the preparation of the Olympic Games, as you might know, are going to take place in Paris in July. And there is a new Olympic discipline that is breakdance. And I discovered these beautiful words that was new to me, maybe you know about it, that is artletes, like athletes, but with arts, artletes. So breakdancers were described as artletes. So yeah, dance is both an art and a sport. And I'm not going to go through the whole list of benefits that physical exercise and artistic education can bring to kids. But our belief is that actually, as dance is both an art and a sport, well, it combines. It's the best of both worlds, right? So it combines all these benefits. For instance, what is important to remember besides this list and everything we could add and develop on the basis of this list is that it allows a multi-dimensional development. So it is about mental development, it is about emotional development, and it is about, obviously, physical development. When it comes to mental development, well, neuroscience have studies what dance does, right? And dance stimulates the frontal region of the brain, which creates connections, and which means, among others, that children are going to improve their memory, so memorize better. And it's also regions that are linked to decision making, right? So you see also potential for direct applications and transferability of the skills that they develop whilst dancing. When it comes to emotional development, well, actually, when you dance, when you move your body on music, well, there is a whole hormonal activation, and these hormones are helping coping with stress, right? So it's also about mental health, it's also about stress management, and actually there is some stress involved in growing up, also as a child, and especially when we are in a challenging context, for instance, a socio-economic difficult context, disadvantaged context. So we said mental, we said emotional, and obviously also physical. And just looking, once again, we don't have time to go into depth, right? But when it comes to motor skills development, how is it transferable? Well, when you move, and when you develop your muscles and skeleton faster than a child that is not taking part in a dance program, well, what does it mean? That maybe you're going to be writing earlier. It means also that you're getting more autonomous, I don't know, lacing your shoes. It can sound simple, but for a child it goes a long way, right? So all of this develops skills that are transferable for children's life, and also giving them the autonomy, the confidence in their future life as adults. This little tableau, how do we say it in English? Yes, is just funny, right? It's not scientific. It's really not scientific, and you can argue that art maybe is also good for physical health, and you can argue that sport is good for creativity and imagination, right? But what it says is that there is a superpower there. That really dance, being an art and a sport, is a wonderful platform that can bring a lot to children and youth, and by the way, to other ages, and it's good for anyone, but we're focusing here on youth. Well, of course, here is a rub. Many children cannot access dance educations, dance programs. Here we're speaking about physical exercise, so the World Health Organization is speaking about 80% of children and teenagers at school age, do we say this, I'm not sure, who are not moving enough, right? And when it comes to arts education, actually I don't have the figure, but a lot of children don't have access to it either. So there is an argument that we receive from time to time from decision makers about dance programs. So why should they fund dance programs? And I like to quote Malala Yousafzai here, because it's what she's saying about education. So she's saying, okay, we get the feedback when we are ambitious for all children in the world, but primary education is enough, right? But actually, it is the same for the arts. When you ask these decision makers and your children, what do they do? Well, on Monday, they play the piano. On Wednesday, they have ballet class. On Friday, they have Aikido, right? So actually, dance and music should be accessible for all. And specific studies were done about dance, right? Very recent, very interesting ones, and some of them are really strong in their conclusion, saying that decision makers, policy makers should consider dance as a serious asset for children, both with a medical condition and healthy. Let's look at what our beneficiary says. So they say that or we have stated in our impact study that we do with our programs, that dance improve concentration in the studio. So we see an evolution. We do dance programs all over the year, right? So they have, it's weekly dance programs. It's really long-term programs. In the studio and in the classroom, concentration increases. There is also a better collaboration and communication between the students, once again in the studio and in the classroom. And there is an increase in confidence that manifests itself in many different ways. They learn faster, especially when it comes to our programs where we have recently migrated children who don't speak French, for instance, when it takes place in France, and they learn French faster. The children who are taking part in the programs. Let's have a short look at what is said about our program in London, one of our programs in London, and it's in a primary school, and maybe we should directly, of course there will be a bit of advertising. No, perfect. Oh yeah, it's not YouTube.
One day I was in a primary school just like this in South West London, and an outreach program came and offered 2 years free dance training. From that one day at primary school, changed my life big time. I ended up going to the Royal Ballet School for training for 8 years, and that was followed by 15 years with English National Ballet.
That's our children.
I can't imagine my life without ballet, quite honestly. I had some difficulty in my childhood, and ballet is the thing that really grounded me and kept my mind on track, kept me focused, gave me passion and determination, and I can't imagine my life having been any other way.
I think ballet can really help these youngsters on many different levels. There's the discipline in there, there is teamwork, working with others. There's also movement, which is very, very important. I feel, especially in this day and age, PE lessons and creative arts are sort of not as much as they used to be, and they are a key part to children's development.
I've absolutely loved working with the children, coming in on day one and asking who'd even seen ballet, and not many of them had. Literally talking them through the very concept of ballet, doing the very sort of basic positions with them, and I really couldn't be prouder watching them today, seeing them being able to do quite advanced steps already, and also just having the confidence of performing, and just I can see that they just really enjoyed themselves today. And I think so many of them said to me today that they want to keep doing it, which makes me very, very happy.
Learning ballet has really helped the children to have a whole different range of skills, to have coordination and balance and discipline, but also open their eyes to something that they may not have had before. The children hadn't been to a ballet performance or had any ballet lessons before.
The dance session is really good because it helped me like move my back after a while, because like I normally play football. Now that football's cancelled, I have nothing to do now. I found a new hobby. I think it's really fun and I love to dance because it makes me happy. I didn't know I loved to dance, but now when I came into the dance club, I love it now.
From it, I feel like this is one of the first times where the...
So, yeah, as a conclusion, or message to decision makers, to policy makers, is that dance needs to be seriously taken as a platform for children's development on so many levels, and that dance programs are not a cost, they are an investment in the children's future and therefore in humanity. Thank you for your attention.
So, a take home is that we talked about and learned about education and performing arts to empower kids. We recognize that numerous challenges faced by underprivileged children who live in families with limited environmental resources and lack companionship and educational support. Dance is free. You don't have to send them to school, right? Just turn on the music and go dance. So they may experience frustration due to poor academic performance or lack of self-confidence, leading to doubts about their future prospects. We believe, and I believe, that through performing arts education can help underprivileged children regain their confidence and strive for a better future. Be a ballet teacher. I'll be telling you a personal story. My daughter is autistic, but she could read a book in a day. She had too much energy, so we sent her to ballet class. Thank you, Miss Allier, for that.